Hello, I'm Lise-Lotte. Welcome to the garden. Lily is here with me, and my greenhouse is behind me. And it's just a beautiful day this afternoon as we're filming. And I thought I would share a few things with you this afternoon and a little beauty from the garden, from the flower farm. So this is a jug that I bought in Denmark a few years ago, which I absolutely love. And I think it works really well with the dahlias. I've got anemones, sweet peas, what else have I got in here? Lace flower, little cornflower here, and yeah. So I don't have a flower frog in or anything. I just, there's so much in there that it sort of creates a bit of scaffolding, and you can kind of put a lot in as well. So, so that is that. And I just finished this week hosting some lovely women in my garden who are founding members of my GEMS membership. And also the next day, that was for dinner, and then the next day, Creativity Day, which is like a one-day retreat. And it's here in the garden, and I've done it for 2 years. And we just make things that are special, you know, meaningful. Oh, I wonder, there's a hummingbird. I didn't know if it came into view, but anyway, it just came there. And so as the developer of that experience, it's always like a big thing, you know, like it takes a long time to develop what you're going to do in the workshop, in the retreat, figuring out all the things, making all the things, preparing all the things, and then running the full-on day yourself as well. And so I decided that after I had been doing a lot of content creation and different things for my business, that you know, I hadn't sort of taken a weekend off in a bit, and so, or the weeks. And that's just how it is as a solopreneur, and I love what I do. I absolutely love what I do, and it is a bit of my personality to sort of throw myself into something completely and wholly, and then, you know, do my absolute most for that thing, whatever that project is. And then at the end of that project, there always is kind of a like, wow, that was a wonderful thing, or challenging thing, or whatever the thing was. In this case, it was wonderful. And there was a lot of conversations going in my mind. Like there was a lot of, so for example, I got a chance to meet somebody who has been a founding member in my membership, GEMS, Gathering Experiences That Are Meaningful. We had never met in person before. And it was absolutely wonderful to meet her. And I see all the GEMS, whoever comes to the meetings. It's like book club kind of, at the last Wednesday of the month. And so I've seen people online, I've met people online, but to meet somebody in person, that's a whole different thing, and it's wonderful. So there were lots of conversations out of those conversations, lots of things going on in my head that I just kind of needed to ponder. And it was because I think I hadn't anticipated how wonderful it would be at the end of a 2-year period to kind of see like, oh, here are some people who didn't see themselves as creative before, and who now do in these wonderful ways, and are doing all of these amazing creative things, and are here at Creativity, and they're here in my garden, and I get to show them cyanotype and like just have fun. And so that was really special. Like it was really a special time. And so then I have been thinking for the last few weeks that I wanted to get over to an island that's near here, and an island that I grew up on when I was growing up. Every weekend we would go there, like every weekend. And I've written about it on my blog, and I've talked about it before, and I had been wanting to go because I just feel drawn to that island, and I haven't been there for months and months. And so I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna go. and I knew that I didn't have anything on my schedule yesterday, and I purposely kind of kept it that way in case it all worked, and it did. But you know what? I wanted to show you what I got. So I walked around the little town, and there's like a hardware store, kind of general store. Actually, it's more than hardware because it's like marine stuff and kitchen stuff and clothing and children's toys and all the things. And they also have art supplies. So I always love finding out what people buy. So here is a little book, like a little, like nothing, what was this, $1.69 book, with the squares, like the, you know, like you can kind of draw or do whatever. And then in the creativity day, we did this book, and we attached a cyanotype with corners. And because I didn't have any sticker corners, because I didn't know that they existed, I've always made my own. And no, that's not true. I knew that they existed, but they were like, you lick them, and I didn't have any anyway. So, but the sticker ones. Anyway, so we made our own, and I showed people how to do it and stuff. And it's super, you know, super straightforward, but it has a really nice effect when you're not gluing your artwork into your book. You're placing it in. You can always take it out again or whatever. But anyway, I've come along, and I got two of the same kind. And these are photo corners. So, and they are stickers. And then I look down and I see, oh, they're made in Denmark. How fun. So that was one thing. Oh, and then I saw, I want to get it caught. This is from, I think this is from the Netherlands. Like, this place is like a small island in the Pacific Ocean, and here we are, made in the Netherlands. They just, their buyer is amazing. And it's kids glue. Kids glue. But you can see it has a little, and I'll do a little thing at the end, but it has a little thing you can kind of like, you know, probably glue down. So I'm gonna like play with this, because I just think I've never seen one like that before, and I think it's fantastic, built in, so you don't have to like get another tool to spread your glue. It's right on there. The Dutch, they're so clever. And then I went into an art supply store. It used to be a bookstore, and you know, so I'm 58, and my parents built the place. My mom had bought the land before, but my parents built a house, or had it built, with an architect and everything, when I was 8. And so I'm 58, so I realized as I was going over on the ferry, it's like, wow, Lise-Lotte, you're getting old. And I heard because I was traveling by myself, which is what I wanted, you hear a lot of conversations, right? And that intrigues me. I always think that's so fun. And so I heard people say, oh, like I've been on the island for 13 years. And then I've been here, and I've been like, wow, like I've been here for 40 years. Crazy. No, 50 years. I was going to say 50. I thought it was too big a number. No, it is 50 years. Anyway, no wonder I miss it when I'm not there. No wonder I have this feeling of this pull. But anyway, so I went into a shop that for years was a bookstore, and now it's an art shop. And so I bought a roller for a project, and this color, it's orange, like it's a beautiful bright orange. I don't know why I was drawn to the orange, I just was. And I'm going to be doing this thing with the gems, with rolling like paint on like leaves and things like that. And so I guess I don't know, but I was just drawn to the orange. And then for some reason, I don't know why, I had to have this orange piece of paper. So when I went up to the till in this little place, and I said to the woman, I guess it's Orange Day. And she goes, you know, it's funny, because yesterday was Fuchsia Pink Day. Everything she was selling in the shop yesterday, and she pointed to a color of a pen, was this color. Yeah, so who knows why it's Orange Day. And then I was standing in a place, there's something in here I can't show you because somebody's gonna see this, so it's a Christmas gift, but because I like to do that. I like to, because I don't actually usually go shopping. So when I'm somewhere like this and I see something, then it's like, oh, I'll tuck that away. But I was standing in the bigger store where I got like these things, and I was standing in the wool section. Surprise, surprise. And this woman walked by, and she had walked by on the way, and she was really like in a hurry, but she was so friendly, and we smiled to each other. I don't know her. And on her way back, she said, "Did you know that there's a new knitting store?" I'm like, "No, but I do now. Thank you very much. Where is it? Thank you for telling me." And she's like, "It's called Art Spring." And she told me where it was. And so I went and found it, and I met the owner, and it's only been open for about 6 weeks. And I bought, because I always like seeing what other people bought. I will take pictures and show you all of this stuff, but this is super yummy. This is, where's the little thing? Lichen and Lace. It's made in Canada, and it's 72% kid mohair, 28% silk. Don't know what I'm making with it, but anyway, had to have that. And then this for the project. I don't know if you saw when I had done a little project recently with knots and like the French knot, and doing some embroidery practice and then making that necklace. But I thought, oh, these are really cool. These are hand dyed. This is wool and silk, also by Lichen and Lace. This is Citron, and this is, what does it say? Calm Waters. Ooh, that's what we like, Calm Waters. And I thought, oh, those would be really fun to make some of those and to do a little bit more handwork. And they're just so nice to touch. And then this one, what is this? Oh, here we go. Merino wool, also made in Canada, but the color, I mean the color. And actually this is close to the color that they kept selling yesterday, or the day before, at the art store. And then the next day was orange. I wonder what it is today over there. Wonder what color they're selling today. And you know, I went to, because years and years, well, I guess I was 12. I remember being 12, and I probably did it like before then and later as well. But I had my things in an art show that was like a perpetual, it was like open all, in a town hall kind of thing, and open all summer. And you had to be a resident and so on. And so, and I had so hand sewn together these little balls that, out of fabric, with, wasn't an octagon, it was, I don't know, some shape like that, and you sewed it all around and stuffed it. It was like for little babies or toddlers or whatever, little ball, and lots of work to make and stuff, but it was all hand sewn. And I remember going over like on the Saturdays, and we'd go there to see if I'd sold one. Like, it was just, and so I walked back into this hall. Now I've been there like probably, well, not every year since, but many of the years since. And so it was fun to see what was there, fun to see, you know, the kinds of things that I have seen at their local market, and some people were exhibiting there as well. And then because I was kind of listening to what other people were talking about, because when you're on your own, you get to hear those kind of conversations, which is why I think it's important to travel alone. And by travel, I mean you can go to the local coffee shop, or go for a walk somewhere and in an area where you're hearing conversations. It's kind of neat. Anyway, and so these two women were, and I'm a terrible judge of age, so who knows? I think they were in their late 70s. That is my guess, but of course I don't know. And two friends, and they're looking through all the things, and then they get to the place where they have, you know, people have published books, and so there's like a little book section, local authors. And it was a book about the Camino and walking the Camino. And one woman says to the other, "Oh, my friend invited me along to do that." And then she kind of pauses, and her friend says, "Oh," and then she says, "But I guess I've kind of missed the window on that." And I guess that really struck me, because a lot of times we think we have all this time, And maybe it's because I realized on the ferry on the way over, oh my gosh, like 50 years I've been coming here. Well, actually slightly more probably, because before they built the house. And thinking about the kinds of things that I want to do in my life, the kinds of, you know, things I want to create in my business, the kinds of things that I want to learn, the places that I want to go, the kinds of experiences that I want to have. And I don't know about you. Is this my age? Are you doing this? I don't know. Are we the same age? I don't know. But I thought, I don't want to walk through an art exhibit one day and see somebody else has written the book and say to my friend, like, I think that window's closed. And you know, she didn't seem like she had tons of regrets in her life. I don't know who she is. I mean, it just struck me because it was something that a lot of people say, like, for an example, with Creativity Day, there were people who said, oh, you know, I'll have time when. And, you know, when I retire, I'll have time. When the kids, you know, finally move out, when the last one moves out, when the this, like, there'll be time. And I know that I don't remember what the word is, but there's a word in psychology that is there to describe this thing, which is that there is never time. Like, there is never the perfect time. And there is never, there's never more time. And I think about that, and then I think, but when I was caregiving for my parents and I had young children, I can assure you there was not a lot of time. And there was not a lot of time for me, that is for sure. And now I don't have that. I mean, I don't have my parents, I don't have my youngest daughter, and my oldest daughter is very independent and doesn't need me for anything like that. So I don't, we have the dog, and aside from her, like, there really isn't anybody that I'm looking after. Everybody else is independent, and we're living a parallel and wonderful life. And so I think too, in a way, that even though I'm saying, like, there's never a good time or the perfect time or there's never more time, I kind of think that there is in some ways. But in some ways, I think I was creative through a lot of very difficult times when I was caregiving for my disabled parents. And it was that, creativity, walking alongside that helped me get through that. And it certainly was in the last 5 years after having lost Ilsa. It was leaning into beauty, and it was creating, and using your hands and being absorbed in the moment and getting excited about the soft feel of this, and the excitement of what can I make with this, and I think there's really something very, very important about that. And that's what I wanted to say today, is that if you are wanting to be creative, if you are at a place where lots is going on, or if you are wondering what's going to happen next, like you're going through a transition, and then what's going to be next? Is there more? Yeah, there's more. And you don't know what it all is. It doesn't unfold. You just can't skip to the back page and read the ending, which is, I think, a great thing. But to take one step and to do something small for yourself, buy some flowers at the local market, or from a stand in your neighborhood, or from the grocery store, and then just arrange them in an interesting way, and with a vase that you love. That's a creative act. Those few minutes that you do that, and the beauty that it brings to you and to your life, has repercussions beyond the thing that you can see. And I think that part of the repercussion is that it changes us it keeps us grounded, literally grounded, and it helps our nervous system. It helps us to stay regulated, as the psychologists talk about. But it helps us to really remain centered and calm and our best self. And that surely is evident in the ripples as we are doing our caregiving or whatever. That if we are happy and centered, and not happy like in a fake kind of positive thing. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about really heartfelt connection with yourself. And if you are in a community where you are creative with other people, well, even better. And so you're connected with others. That's huge. That's really huge. And it takes you in places that you wouldn't necessarily know that it was going. And so I really encourage you to be creative in small steps in whatever you can do today, and know that it doesn't all come overnight. Like this. Okay, so just take for an example, grew this beautiful dahlia. This dahlia started as a tuber in this greenhouse months ago. It doesn't this bouquet doesn't happen just like that. And there's no way to get it faster. It's going to come on the time that it's going to come, and it'll be beautiful when it arrives. And we don't have a sense, but if I hadn't planted the tuber, I wouldn't have this in front of us to enjoy, and I wouldn't be able to take this to my friend and give it to her later on, just because I want to. And I know that it will bring her joy. And so I would just say that, one step at a time. And part of that is giving yourself a moment to just have a day where you go and find stuff that I needed this, I guess. And I was looking for this, but I didn't even know they existed. And I had no idea that you could buy glue with the thing that was, and what am I going to do with this orange paper? This is a fabulous problem to have. It's the kind of problem I like, is to know what I'm going to do with that. And I know that this is the kind of book that I really like writing in, and I like the feel of the paper and stuff. I'm going to really enjoy this $1.69 plus tax book. And the day that I gave myself wasn't even a whole day, it was a few hours that I gave myself to go and kind of explore and tune in and sort of think things through, not consciously, but just to kind of let things settle and it, tune into the ideas that I have and so on. And so, yeah, that's what I wanted to share, is if you can do that for yourself every once in a while, I would really encourage you to do it, because it changes everything. I hope you're having a good afternoon, and I wish you peace on your path.